First time buyer mistakes, part 3. So today I'm going to talk to you about one more mistake that first time buyers have made in my experience. And that is not doing the proper research, not knowing how much you can borrow. Now, by not knowing that, by not having a decision in principle, basically you're going out there blind. It's kind of a waste of your time, the estate agent's time. Sometimes the estate agent will not even let you view a property, put an offer in the property, unless you've got a decision in principle. And that is basically a document to say, in principle, you can borrow X amount. By not knowing, it just isn't good, because two things can happen. You'll either view a property that you cannot afford, or you can view a property. I've had a client view a property, put in an offer on a property, and they could actually afford a lot more. So do your research and find out what you can afford. You can go to a mortgage broker, a mortgage advisor, and they can tell you what you can afford. You can go on calculators online and get a rough idea, but you don't have to have an exact amount of what you can borrow. In fact, depending on the lender, it will change, it will differ from one to the other, but just make sure that you've got a rough idea, a starting point. I mean, by knowing what you can afford before you view a property and put in an offer, you can also find out how much deposit that you need. Because at the end of the day, if you can borrow 300,000 and you're putting down a 10% deposit, then you will need 30,000. If you can only borrow 200,000 and you want to put down the 10% deposit, you only need 20,000 deposit. So you really need to know what you can borrow before. That is kind of one of the first things that you need to know after knowing about your credit and how good your credit is. In fact, they come hand in hand. So, and also factor in the fact that your salary may increase or whatever. So if you're thinking, oh, I'm going to buy property in a year's time, have a rough idea of what you'll be earning in a year's time and put that into the calculator. If you want to look in the next few months, put in what you're on now, but just be aware that you really do need some kind of starting point. And then you can go on Zoopla or Rightmove and actually decide what sort of property, based on what I can afford, where can I afford to look, and what's a good area, where can I get the most for my money, and that kind of thing. Or is area key? You really need to make that decision. Because at the end of the day, some people, they would rather live in their desired area in a 1-bed flat than a little bit further out in like a 2 or a 3-bed flat. Like my first flat was in zone 4. I could have afforded zone 2 or stroke 3, but I wanted to have 2 nice, decent bedrooms, because I thought, it's good to have 2 bedrooms to start off with, and it was a really nice size flat. So that was more important to me than buying a smaller place but closer into London. So you really need to sort of decide what you want. And once you've worked out what you can borrow, then you can look at locations and get a better idea. So my name is Manda Walker. I'm the mortgage coach, and this is another tip for first-time buyers, mistakes that have been made in the past. Thank you.